Hi everyone, turn 47. Got a staff from my buddy Greenskins North. Very nice. Conjuration, so we can now summon Harbingers and Eagles. Throne Claims, Displacers, Harspecs found this. And we also got this Accursed Idol. That's this thing here. I've given it a Leyline Collector, and then I'm also going to give it a Dimensional Anchor. But these things are handy to have around just because they give you some nice cross paths for forging and rituals. Then some transfer of this stuff. Took another peek at Karnak just to see what's inside. He got paralyzed, so this barbarian is not going anywhere. The thing that I wanted to remind myself of, for one thing, was like the paths on these guys, but also do they have the magic being tag, which they do not. So we just have to punch them down the old-fashioned way. Which is a thing. So, I've got 8 thugs storming in. Let's actually go ahead and send some of these guys in as well. Excuse me. Excuse me. Goodness. These will be distractions for us to get buffs off with our mages. And I don't think that there's one that I can cast that gives me what's that thing that I wanted? Magic resistance. Which is, yeah, that's the thing that I really need. But these guys, they'll eat a few mind burns while we're getting the situation ready. Let's see. Arctic Wilds. This was Nurgle Warhost storming Valanthos. Valanthos is, well, they're done. They've got some court magi and a few assorted creatures, but nothing to stand up against the armies of chaos. Although, surprisingly enough, they did burn a lot of these chaos horse people. And then these chaos furies went and took care of business. And as we see later, that is the end of Valanthos. Some battles up in the northwest. So here's Archonia trying to beat up the demons of Krieg. They've got a bunch of blood magic going on here. Some familiars, some demon grunts, a lot of fire. These mistresses are phenomenal. Like, they're just really good. Great paths, stealthy, flying, firepower. I'm surprised that these guys are naked, but either way. What's over here? Some occultists. That was presumably for research. And then over here, some crossbows. They have this anti-demon effect attached to them, which is pretty convenient for Archonia. Everything. Well, maybe it is Arcania. It's like Arcania, but in any case, they've got their Archon swords that are really good against... Well, Are they? They're really good against naked demons. 6 armor piercing damage is still not that impressive. Hmm. Then there's some of these. Yeah, it's just all 2 damage on these holy strikes. But Arcania is basically designed to try to counter demon nations like Krieg. And then back here, we've got this Elohim with anti-demon weapon. And although, yeah, Holy Scourge is not fire typed. Fire plate. And then some other stuff. I don't remember if the Elohim starts with a flambeau, in which case swapping out the flambeau for a Holy Scourge was kind of silly. Like, the flambeau is a better anti-demon weapon. But in any case, a lot of these guys get burnt by these Magogs on the wall. These are incredible wall defenders. Firing off these fire flares that just light up squares way better than any other wall defender, but that's Krieg. Krieg just gets broken stuff. So you can see them burning a lot of these guys. All of Krieg's chaff is pretty poorly armored, so they are vulnerable to the Holy Strike effect. One other thing that Krieg is doing here, they've got this like Howl for Cultists type of effect, which is good against archers because archers will be distracted shooting at the cultist wolves. This guy has gone to the back and he is using his Scourge and his kicks. Still, no one has dislodged these guys from the wall. Where is that? Is that? Oh, there's an Efreet up there. It's Blood Surged. Here's its Bless. File, larger, magic resistance, etc. Again, if this guy were not naked, he might be able to just thug this entire army, to be honest. But in any case, he's still able to provide artillery support. More cultist wolves. And so, let's go ahead and pause and see like where we're at right here. The cultist wolf thing is just ridiculous. Krieg gets so much ridiculous stuff. The archers, like, shooting a bunch of crossbows makes sense as a anti-Krieg tactic or just a storm tactic in general, because you want them to come through the wall to you rather than getting plugged up at the wall. But they probably wanted something to deal with these cultists. Could have been like a howl of their own, could have been like some fire elementals maybe. Like, fire elementals would have love hugged with these fire guys, but they can definitely munch on cultists. They definitely wanted to cast something that... What's the point of this? He's got some random ass gear on this worthless unit. Maybe she like looted it. Anyway, this is his bless, by the way. Like, they needed to cast some type of fire resist effect on their crossbows because they were just getting burned up by these ridiculous wall defenders who, like, the wall defenders eventually fell, but they took down so many crossbowmen with them. Probably wanted some type of like wind guide or something to make those crossbows more effective. Let's see what they actually have been casting. So these Acolytes of Light, they were just Well, they should have been casting... Yeah, Crushing Scourge is the anti-demon smite. So that makes sense. We killed a bunch of like hellhounds and shit like that. Lord Avengers. What are these things? Well, they don't do anything. Like, what's the point of them? Like, they would be decent if you gave them like some armor and just had them like dual wield, I guess. So that's the other problem. Like, Archon didn't bring any paths to this fight. I take that back. They have this Bright Wizard that casts Create Flaming Missiles, which does nothing. Fireball, which does... Like, this was off script at this point. Does nothing. Because everything in Krieg is fire resistant except for the cultist, basically. And the cultist would have died to regular arrows. He should have been casting Flame Ward on these troops. This other wizard, yeah, he cast Communion Master, but I don't think that there was an actual Communion slave here. Yeah, I just don't know what Archon was doing. It sounded like they were just relying on Smite to win them the whole battle, but he needed something to deal with the cultists, something to deal with the fire, and Smite's like... It's a decent spell, but it's not going to just win you a battle like this on its own. Like, all of these cultists back here, they're not technically demons, they're immune to it. These mistresses and stuff have high enough MR that they can resist it, and they send back like huge hails of fire on the flip side. So yeah, this was a winnable battle for Arconia, but not with their strategy. We're seeing this Elohim here, this Pretender, has been taking some damage. He doesn't have any type of like crowd control effect, nor does he have any regen. I guess he has Awe, but Awe doesn't work against missiles. And so just chip damage has worn him down, but he has refused to run away, which means that he will die pretty soon. Oh, luck is keeping him alive. Okay. And there he goes. And the cultist wolves keep coming, and it's just too much for the Arconian army. There's more cultists on the battlefield. Like, this is proper Skella spam. It's more cultists on the battlefield than units that were even on there to begin with. So, yeah. Arconia battle plan sucked. This Cultist Howl spell is super OP. Like, each of their occultists can cast it and just summon a bunch of these guys. These mistresses are... they were just casting Cultist Ambush the whole time. They weren't even bothering with, like, Hail of Fire or something, which also would have been super effective. This is just a comedy of errors. So, the result of that was a loss for Arconia, and Krieg lost, like, a decent number of things, but they didn't lose any of their valuable mistresses, which are the important parts. Everything else is pretty replaceable. Lusitania storming this Lunken fort. Just a lot of archery. Some smites and banishes, but that's the extent of the magic that we're seeing here. And that is the end of that. And then over here, the pirates of Regna storming this Krieg fort. These are their Nyx warriors. These are quality troops. I mean, you can see their stats. Good stats, solid protection, 2 attacks each, so their attack density is actually better despite being size 3. Some crossbows in the back. And let's look at... They did bring several sorcerers. It looks like mostly with water too. Some of them have water gems, some of them don't. I'm guessing that we'll see some Frozen Heart from the non-gem ones and some elementals from the gem ones. Over here, some Pit Fiends. These are Krieg's early quality recruit. Some of these mistresses, which again, these are just incredible. 3 10 damage armor piercing attacks. Strength buffs do work on these things. Range is only 15, but still. Like, and then the paths on them are, of course, where they really shine. Occultists, and then some random stuff. No blood slaves on this one. What's this? Rain. So trying to put out those fires. Krieg is not doing a cultist howl here. They just have their first wave of free spawn cultists. A lot of fire being thrown. These guys do have enough armor to tank many fire effects. And interestingly enough, rather than water elementals, these are ice elementals. So despite this being a Krieg province, it is under cold dominion. The lizards are starting to break in. This thing is incredible. Just look at it. It's got a second shape as well. But great paths, 21 protection, and most of that is armor, so it can get up to 30 if it really wanted to. Blessed Awe, I guess the Awe and the Reinvigoration are coming from the Bless. And again, this guy is naked. If he actually had gear, he would be terrifying. Some meteors being dropped. It's the end of the mist, which means that the pirates ran away. I do very much like this ice elemental trampling this demoniac. But eventually the ice melts. We see the Pit Fiends are still standing strong. And this was the downfall of so many storming armies. You've seen these in some of my other videos, where you get caught up in the gateway against elite troops and are not able to make your superior numbers felt. So, Regna lost 65 of these guys and some of their sorcerers. Oh man, these battle mages are also really good, and they also lost 4 of those. And they got pretty much nothing for it. Like, all of this is just random crap. None of the Pit Fiends, which are the actual expensive ones, died. And again, none of the super powerful mistresses. So it's a good turn to be Krieg. Of course, every turn's a good turn to be Krieg, because Krieg is broken. Disease, Obscuro, Prayers, Troll, bit of cash. A Hog Knight seeks the fabled forest of truffles. Unrest. And got my scouts caught in some places. that's the end of the events. For Chassos, we've got this Centurion going to hop in for a bite and take a look around. Assuming that everything's fine, then everybody else will join in the siege next turn. So ideally, this time next turn, we will have 2 more capitals. And other than that, starting to see what the plans are for Team Fire over here. And we're figuring that before too long, we'll go and put Lusitania out of their misery. Although they are pushing back with this force here, so who knows? Maybe this will just retake Lanka and then that'll be the end of Lanka. We will see. See you on turn 48.